So what are you doing to keep your health or your heart healthy? I keep reversing it, Shelly.
Yeah, we've got
it's almost like a tongue twister, isn't it? But it's so important. I mean, our health is vital, obviously.
Absolutely.
And as I mentioned off the top there, I mean, it's really kind of scary when you think of it in the perspective of every 7 minutes someone in Canada has a heart attack.
It's crazy.
I mean, that is insane. Or a stroke every 10 minutes. So, I mean, this is really important stuff. And so much of what we do when it comes to our health is what we're putting into our bodies. And I think that's a message that we keep talking about because it is so important. It's a thing we can change like that.
In heart health, particularly with the whole diet lifestyle approach, I mean, we can have tremendous effects through diet and lifestyle management of heart health. And, you know, everybody thinks about heart health as just having high blood pressure, but there's lots of heart related diseases that come with that in terms of, you know, not just hypertension, but coronary artery disease and congestive heart failure and peripheral vascular disorders and stuff like that. So we really do, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if we can prevent it in the first place, huge changes that you can make.
Yeah,
so
let's talk about that because I think, you know, again, we always talk diet, people see it, they hear it, but you need to hear it over and over again for it to finally sink in,
And you know what, it gets very confusing for a lot of people because, you know, we'll tell people, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on our whole food plant-based diet because we talk about that a lot. So lots of fresh foods, living foods, your nuts, your legumes. This is red quinoa. So for heart health, we mostly focus on healthy fats and fiber.
Okay.
So whole foods. You know, everybody thinks about high blood pressure and being salt sensitive and trying to avoid things like adding salt to your food. I find a lot of people's salt intake doesn't come from the salt shaker. It comes from the foods that we eat, particularly when we're eating packaged foods. And what gets confusing for people is labeling can be very misleading. So when you turn this over, it's about 840 milligrams of sodium per serving. The problem is a serving is half a can. So if you eat a can of soup,
that's a lot of sodium.
1,700 milligrams. So when we're talking about salt-restricted diets and we encourage people on a heart-healthy diet to consume less than 1,000 milligrams a day.
I was going to ask that, yes. So
that's almost your whole day.
In just that one can.
Right. So then we look at, so don't eat things out of packaged foods, right?
Right.
Focus on the whole foods. So we tell people healthy fats and fiber. So, you know, someone thinks, well, I'm going to make myself a salmon sandwich. The difference being, these are packaged foods. So if you look at the serving size for one slice of bread and half a can of salmon, 700 milligrams of sodium.
Wow.
And then if you put mayonnaise in there, you're looking at 100 milligrams per tablespoon. So 900 milligrams in a salmon sandwich when people think they're doing themselves a favor by using whole grains. And it is great in terms of fiber and healthy fat, but when it's packaged, when you have to read a label, there's probably too much sodium.
Okay. And so in order to avoid that, like what should we be doing? I mean, if, you know, a lot of people talk about convenience. So things like this are convenient for them. They're maybe not going to take a piece of salmon out of the freezer and grill it.
Right.
You know, but could they take something like this and make it with the red quinoa?
Absolutely.
And then they're going to have a better source of fiber and less sodium overall.
That's right. And I tell people, read your labels. Become aware of what sodium is in. For example, there's more sodium in a can of salmon than there is in a can of tuna.
Okay.
If you can make options, take a look at the different breads that are in the grocery store in terms of sodium content. But yes, if you can opt for things that aren't in a package, they don't have a label, that's a much, much better alternative for sure.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's so true. Like you often think like even things that are packaged that they're good for you because it says, you know, whole grains or your omegas and all those great words.
Good for what?
Exactly. Yeah. And then you do have to really learn how to read your labels. And I think it's so important. And people, you know, they say, I don't have the time, but you find the time because it's so good in the end for your overall health. You need to know what you're putting into your body.
And once you know, you know. You don't have to read the bread every time you buy the bread, right?
Exactly.
Once you find your bread, that's your bread.
Yeah, and then you can find out. Now, when it comes to some supplements, what are some of the things that we should be including or at least investigating for heart health?
So diet and lifestyle is sort of where we start. If you do have heart disease or a strong family history of heart disease, these are some of the supplements that you might want to think about taking for heart health. CoQ10, particularly the active form of CoQ10, which is ubiquinol as opposed to ubiquinone, is an antioxidant that's particularly concentrated in cardiac muscle. Magnesium, great for heart health, and of course our fish oil. I think I should just leave a bottle of fish oil here.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Like the fish oil, and a lot of people taking fish oil. You know? But there's so many great options. There's a lemon one. That's I think it's fantastic.
This is straw. Oh, that's orange. There's also strawberry. My kids take fish oil right off the spoon and ask for more.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the lemon one's like that for me.
Yeah,
I could just drink
delicious.
it. Like it's totally fine. So and so good for you. I mean, that's the thing. Like this,
and for
this
so
should
many
be included.
things.
Yeah. And what do we have down here?
Well, I did bring some vitamin K. It's important for heart health, particularly if you're taking a calcium supplement, because vitamin K helps to prevent calcium from getting deposited in your arteries.
Oh.
So very
And this
important.
is hard to get naturally, is it not? Vitamin K?
It's in dark leafy greens.
Okay.
So that's the benefit with getting your calcium in your diet,
Yeah.
is calcium-rich foods tend to be
But if you're
sources
those
in
that
calcium.
go ooh to green
That's
leafy
right.
vegetables, first
Yeah.
of all, start adding it to your
That's
diet.
right.
But then this becomes very important because you're probably not getting it.
If you're supplementing a calcium. And then garlic, which I actually meant to bring some garlic. It has gone walking from my house to the car. But garlic, great for heart health, blood thinner, good for blood pressure, peripheral vascular disease. And then specifically for high blood pressure, we use the herb called hawthorn. And you can always get some good combinations that sort of have all the big players for general heart health in there too.
Yeah, and I mean, I just read an article and actually saw something on the news as well, just talking about all of this and the supplements and the things, and that we don't always get everything out of our diet, but to make sure you go to somebody so that you know that you're getting the right things. Don't just start taking stuff.
Right, and lots of people
you
will
may
come
not need
in.
it.
They'll come in and they'll say, well, don't I need this and don't I need that? The better question is, do I need to supplement that?
Yes.
Because that is not always, it's not always required. You can often get a lot through diet and lifestyle.
Which is great, and then you can save yourself some money, and then or put it into something that you do actually need into your diet.
Absolutely.
So, Shelly, thanks so much.
Thanks, Linda.
All right, for more information, you can check them out at Full Circle Healthcare. I can just see Tyler walking out of the car. Why do we have garlic in our driveway?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shelly must have dropped it. All right, 131 Upper Centennial Parkway in Stony Creek, and give them a call at 905-930-7769, fullcirclehealthcare.ca.